The word hero is tossed around rather loosely these days. Undeserving and underwhelming losers and wimps carry this sacred title. Players have been forced to use these so-called heroes and have suffered greatly for it. But all this is about to change. Today we usher in the dawn of a new era, the era of greatness. Haldir has come. All right, Haldir, let's see what you can do. Side 1A, Trouble in Tharbad, double dealings. We're going to add Bellic. And the crossing at Tharbad aside, out of play, we're going to search the encounter deck for a copy of Spy from Mordor. And then we're going to add that to the staging area. We're going to make the Empty Mug, which gets my vote for best named Middle-earth restaurant, as the active location. And then the first player takes control of Haldir as an ally. And then we shuffle the encounter deck. Haldir, you suck. Okay, 1B, it's time for Forced. After the last time counter is removed from this quest, reduce each player's threat elimination level by 10 for the remainder of the game. Then place 4 time counters on the stage. Forced, after 1 or more progress is placed on this quest, cancel all the progress and reduce each player's threat by an equal amount. When our threat equals 0, we advance to stage 2. So this is a great quest for Haldir. Sometimes you get quests and a hero and they don't really match up that well, but this one really does. So the hero that came with this pack works really well against this quest because having low threat helps Haldir snipe into the staging area. Okay, the Empty Mug. Players cannot reduce their threat while it's in the victory display. Forced, after a player card effect reduces a player's threat, remove it from the game. So do not bring ally Elfhelm into this quest. He will leave. Let's look at this enemy in the staging area. Spy from Mordor. He's 40 engagement, 2, 3, 2, 4. Mork. Okay. Mordor. Orc. Spy. I'm definitely not getting attacked by Mork. Forced. When Spy from Mordor attacks, remove 1 time counter from the current quest. Okay, let's take a look at my hero lineup. We're bringing Tactics Merry, 6 threat. He can quest for 2. He gets +1 attack for every Hobbit hero you have. And then if he participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, you can ready another character that participated in that attack. I have him because I want tactics and I want low threat. New hero for the progression series. This is a nice foil that Splice gave me. This is Celeborn. He's 11 threat, 3, 2, 2, 4. When a Sylvan ally enters play, that ally gets +1 willpower, attack, and defense for the remainder of the round. And then, of course, the GOAT himself, Haldir, 2-3-1-3, ranged Sylvan, Ranger, Scout. Combat action. If you have not engaged an enemy this round, exhaust Haldir and declare him attack against an enemy not engaged with you. So that is an excellent ability. One I plan on using a lot. And then we get Haldir. He has no willpower. He's a 1, 2, 3. First player gets control of him. At the beginning of the refresh phase, raise your threat by 1 for each player in the game. If he leaves, we lose. So he's going to be raising your threat, which is the opposite of what you're trying to do in this quest. I'll be using my custom tracker resources across the top, and my threat is 26 to start. Let's take a look at my opening hand. Okay, Foehammer. After you destroy an enemy, exhaust a weapon to draw 3 cards. Here's a new one. Feigned Voices. It's kind of like Feint. Combat action. Return a Sylvan ally you control to stop an attack. There's a weapon, there's Henemarth River Song, some card draw, and some more card draw. So 3 card draw cards, so I'm gonna keep this hand. All right, pretty good opening hand. Glad to see all the card draw, glad to see the weapon. I am looking for Olorian, and I get Mirkwood Runner. Olorian is a song that'll help me play these Sylvans a little cheaper. But we're gonna put in Henemarth. He's gonna be questing for 2, thanks to Celeborn, and we're gonna give Haldir a Dagger of Western Ace so he can attack for 5 into the staging area if I don't engage an enemy. Questing for 7 against 2, and we get when revealed, return all engaged enemies, and then I either can remove a time counter or give spy enemies +2 threat. I'm just going to give him +2 threat. So I make 3 progress, which is 1 away from clearing the active location. And because I don't need to engage an enemy, I can use Haldir's ability to attack into the staging area, and I will do 3 of the 4 damage needed. I'm going to go into the next round. I'll drop a time counter off, raise my threat by an additional 1, thanks to Haldir, you jerk. And we draw Lembas. So as long as you control a Noldor or Sylvan hero, you can attach that to a hero, and then you can discard it to ready the hero and heal 3 damage. Looking at my hand, there's really nothing I want to play. I don't want to play those Daron's runes until I trigger Foe Hammer, get more cards in my hand so I have a good card to discard. And then we get, oh lord, okay, so Belloq's Marauder. He is not who I wanted to see. He's 3 threat, and he takes 9 to kill, which is going to take me a while to build up to. So that stinks. But I can make the progress to clear that active location, and then I can use Haldir to kill that enemy. So that's good. Get that threat out of staging. And then I will play Foe Hammer, so you exhaust a weapon on a hero who just participated in a kill, and you draw 3 cards. So I get the Sylvan Tracker, some card draw, and there we go. Okay, the Galadriel Minstrel. That's one of the Sylvans I really wanted to see. The Sylvans are all about bouncing them in and out of play. And even though this archetype isn't fully fleshed out, just like Kaldara and the Gondor Swarm, the Sylvan deck is still pretty good at this stage. It can get better, and I got the other one. Okay, the Nath Guide is the other Sylvan that I like to bounce in and out. So I'm really happy to see both of those. Now, if I could just get Olorian, that'll make it a lot easier to pay for Sylvans. Okay, Deep Knowledge draws me Daron's runes. That's the 3rd one, and a Dagger of Westernays. Okay. I will play Daron's runes, and let's draw 2 cards. I get another Sylvan Tracker and Tree People. Okay, Tree People is so much fun. You return a Sylvan ally from play to your hand, search the top 5 for a Sylvan ally, and put that ally into play. And it stays forever. It stays forever. It's great. All right, with Daron's runes, I will discard that expensive Sylvan. And then let's play another Daron's runes. And I get, okay, Rumiel. He's a really expensive Sylvan, and another Nath Guide. Well, that's great. Okay. That is really, really great. Now, which card? I think I'm going to discard this Dagger of Westernays. I know that sounds weird, but I have more weapons in this deck, and I'm sure I'm going to draw one, so I'm not too concerned about drawing a weapon, and I wanted to keep all my other cards. All right, so I pulled back Henemarth with the Tree People. There's Olorian. That's what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for a Sylvan. I get to put a Sylvan in for free. I get the Sylvan Tracker and the Daughter of Nimrydel. The Sylvan Tracker is the better healer, so I'll put the Sylvan Tracker into play. So he's boosted thanks to Celeborn, so Tree People is really just amazing. You know, you can spend 1 resource to get a cheap Sylvan in, and then you play the Tree People, and you can get an expensive Sylvan in. The Tree People can only be used once per phase, though. So I think, looking at my hand, might as well play that last Daron's runes. Why not? And I get, all right, another Tree People and Olorian. Okay. That was a really good 2-card draw. I think I'll just discard the expensive Sylvans, the ones that cost 3 to Daron's runes there. All right, that's great. So Olorian costs 1 leadership resource, and then you can exhaust it to reduce the cost of the next Sylvan you play to a minimum of 1, so you can't play Henemarth for free. But I will use it right now, and I'm going to pop in the Nath Guide. And then you get to choose a hero. That hero does not exhaust to quest. So I'm going to choose Haldir. So she's going to be questing for 2, and now Haldir is going to be questing for 2. So I'm going to get some good questing here. And now I'm going to pop in the Galadriel Minstrel, spend 2 resources for her, and when she enters play, look at your top 5 cards for an event. There's an event. There's an event. There's a weapon. There's an ally, and there's an event. So I got 3 events. I'm going to take Unseen Strike. That gives me a +3 attack when attacking an enemy with a higher engagement cost than my threat. I want Hands Upon the Bow as well. I need those when I go to stage 2. But now that I have a Galadriel Minstrel, I can keep bouncing her in and out of play, and that'll let me find my events I need. You know, sometimes when you play Sylvans, you kind of forget what you're doing. You play the Minstrel, you're looking for an event. You play Tree People, you're looking for a Sylvan. If you had Master of the Forge, you're looking for an attachment. All of them search 5. And there's been times where I look at my top 5 and then I'm like, wait, what am I even looking for? I forget. All right, I am questing for a bunch. I either have to remove a time counter or each enemy gets minus 20 engagement costs and plus 1 threat. Okay, well, or plus 1 attack. I'm going to remove the time counter because I don't want this guy to engage me. I did make quite a bit of progress, so I'm going to drop by 10 down to 22, so I don't need to engage this guy. But I'm only attacking for 5, so I only can do 1 damage. I don't want to use my Unseen Strike. I'm going to be using that at the second stage. It's very important for me to be holding on to that when I go into my second stage. Alrighty, and I draw a Full Hammer. Great, that's great. More card draw. Okay, so let's play the Tree People. I'm going to pull that Minstrel back, so I'm going to now search the top 5 for a Sylvan ally. Not an ally. There's one. He is a decent defender. There's a Tree People. There is another event, and I'm going to choose the Nath Guide, and then I remembered I should have pulled that last time counter off, so I didn't want to forget. So my threat elimination level has dropped down to 40, and then I pop in that Nath Guide that I had grabbed with that Tree People, but I didn't want to forget to do the time counter when I remembered. It's real easy for me to forget that. So you reset it back to 4. Okay, so I've played a Nath Guide. She's choosing Haldir. Olorian's going to make this Minstrel go in for 1 less. So now I get to search the top 5 for an event. See what I mean? How easy it is to kind of get mixed up with which one you're doing. Okay, do I want basically a Sylvan Feint or Hands Upon the Bow? I think I'll choose Hands Upon the Bow. You can attack into the staging area with +1. And Haldir does that anyway, but if I could ready him, I can do Hands Upon the Bow, ready Haldir, and then use Haldir's ability. And you can even attack the same enemy twice using that combo I just talked about, because the Hands Upon the Bow is declaring the attack, not the player. Alrighty, full cost for another Nath Guide, and I'm going to choose Celeborn to not exhaust. So Haldir and Celeborn are both not exhausting. 3 Sylvans entered play, so they're all questing for 2 each. And I'm planning on a massive, massive threat drop here. And we get, okay, when revealed, return all engaged enemies, and then either spy enemies get +2 threat or remove a time counter. Well, he's not a spy, so I have to remove a time counter. 3 against 15 means I drop my threat by 12. So now the question is, do I want to just engage this guy? I think I do. I'm going to engage him optionally. And he has an effect that says when a time counter is removed, he gets dealt extra shadow cards if he's engaged with somebody. Okay, so now in the combat window, I'm going to play Feigned Voices. So you do that after you deal a shadow card. I'm going to pull back the Minstrel one more time. So I'm pulling back a Sylvan ally I control to cancel an attack. And then because Celeborn and Haldir are both ready, I can attack for a total of 7, which I believe leaves me 1 short. Yeah, I'm 1 short from killing this guy. So you're going to see me, I'm going to discard the shadow card, and then as I go, yep, I realize, oh no, I have Haldir. He actually is useful. He actually has 1 attack. I have him over there, so it reminds me to raise my threat by an additional amount. So Haldir actually helped me there. I thought I was going to be stuck with this guy for another round. All right, so Foe Hammer draws me a Foe Hammer, and a Deep Knowledge, and a Hands Upon the Bow. 3 events. Fun fact, if you have 2 weapons and you draw a Foe Hammer with Foe Hammer, you can then play the Foe Hammer that you drew because you're still right after that trigger that triggered the first Foe Hammer. If you had 2 in hand, the same thing would have happened anyway. You draw 3 cards and then play the second Foe Hammer and draw 3 cards. So drawing a second Foe Hammer with 1 Foe Hammer and 2 weapons on the table on the hero that did the killing nets you 6 cards, which is pretty fun. All right, so I played a Minstrel. I'm looking for an event. Okay, I'll grab a Tree People. Why not? And then we're going to give the deck a shuffle. I would like another weapon. I thought for sure by now I would have drawn one, but I've been drawing all my other cards. Okay, so the Tree People, I'm going to pull back one of these Nath Guides, and now I'm going to search the top 5 for a Sylvan ally. Let's see what I get. Lembus, no. Feigned Voices, no. There's a great one. There's a weapon, there's a card draw. So only one choice, but it's a good one. So I'm going to put the Minstrel into play, give the deck another shuffle, and then I'm going to get to trigger her effect and search the top 5 for an ally. So this is how Sylvans work. You just keep bouncing them in and out, and you get to just keep grabbing cards out of your deck. It's very fun. Okay, there's an event. Pursuing the enemy does damage to engaged enemies. So do I want card draw or a little bit of direct damage? I think I'll take the card draw. My threat is super low. I can handle that +2. Whoa, there we go. So things are going good. For as early in the Sylvan archetype is, like in the game's life, you can still build a really good deck at this point with Sylvan cards. Okay, let's play this Deep Knowledge. I'm going to draw 2 cards. I get Defender of the Nath. Come on, weapon. And then, okay, I do get that Pursuing the Enemy, which I probably will never use. Look at all these cards. I have another Deep Knowledge. I can't even remember the cards I have. I have to literally go through my hand to remind myself of what I've drawn. Another Defender of the Nath. And then, well, it's not a weapon, but it sure will help. So that has a victory point value. And what it is when you're declaring an attack, you discard it, and you get +5 attack for that one attack. So that's excellent. I don't count on drawing that card, but I'm glad I did. It's going to come in very handy. Okay, full cost for Rumil. So he's questing for 3. She's questing for 2. I believe she's questing for 2. Then 1, 1, 1, 3, and 2. So when it's all said and done, I think I'm sending 15. 15 against 3. You can't place progress on this one. It's in the staging area. And enemies get a reduced engagement cost. Okay, that's no big deal. So I'm going to get to drop my threat by 12, which is really good. And we're getting very close to 0 threat, which means we'll be able to advance to stage 2. Okay, so I removed a time counter. Everyone gets a little money. Raise my threat by 2 thanks to Haldir. And then I'm going to ready everybody up. And at this point, if I can pull back any Sylvans, I want to start pulling back my Nath Guides because I want to use them in the final stage. Okay, what do I draw? Another Unseen Strike. I guess I'm just not going to find one of those weapons that I thought for sure I would. So let's do Tree People. And like I said, I'm pulling back a Nath Guide. I'm going to spring those in at the right time. So I'm going to search the top 5 for a Sylvan ally. There's one. Not an ally. There's a weapon. There's an ally. There's a weapon. Okay, so I will pop in this Mirkwood Runner. I doubt I'll ever use his ability, but I like that he gets a stat boost for this round. So he's going to come into play. And then let's put some Lembus on Haldir here. So spend 1 lore resource, and he basically has a ready. So if he's exhausted, I can pop him back up. And if he happens to have any damage, you would heal it. I'm going to use Olorian to put in this Nath Guide. I was looking at my hand. I have a way to pull her back into my hand if I need it. So let's just get her in play. I really want to advance this round, and I think I'm going to need the willpower boost. All right, committing to the quest. It might be useful if you're not used to playing Sylvans to put a marker on a Sylvan when it enters play with Celeborn to help you remember who is boosted and who's not. And we get the CD Inn. It's a 3 threat location. Not a big deal. So we are going to clear the active location, and we are going to drop our threat to 0. Okay, so that means we are advancing to stage 2, and Celeborn and Haldir are both ready. We're going to add Bellic and the Crossing of Tharbad to the staging area, and then we're going to shuffle the discard pile into the encounter deck and then discard cards until we get an orc enemy, and then we're going to add that orc enemy to the staging area. Okay, 2B, escape from Tharbad, time 3, forced after the last time counter is removed. Either raise your threat by 3, or Bellic's going to make an immediate attack against Haldir, and then you're going to place 3 time counters back on the stage, and then progress that would be placed on this quest are instead placed on the Crossing at Tharbad, forced after a character leaves play, raise its controller's threat by 2. So all we got to do is clear the location we're going to be showing here in a minute, and that is how we're going to win. Okay, let's take a look at Belloc. He is X, where X is the number of players in the game, 5, 4, 7. And then orc and creature enemies get minus 30 engagement costs and plus 1 threat. And when he's destroyed, he's shuffled back into the encounter deck. This is the reason why I wanted that unseen strike, and the black arrow is going to be helpful because I want to kill him before I have to worry about anything else. Okay, the crossing at Tharbad, this is the location we have to clear to win. So it's immune, it can't leave the staging area. Plus 2 quest points for each player, so I need to make 12. And then once it's explored, we're going to win. So all I got to do is quest hard if I can survive this combat phase, and we should be able to get out of Tharbad alive. This quest, unlike the last two, not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's very fun, and it's nice that it's not that hard because, man, the last two, they really don't let up, and you got to play hard the entire time. So it's nice to have an easier quest that you can bring a deck to and just have some fun if you're deck building versus having to bring a deck that's super powerful and you can't afford any mistakes or you're going to lose. So I really like this quest. I like the hero. I like everything about it. Trouble in Tharbad, A+. All right, so I had to shuffle in the discard pile and discard cards till I got an orc. I got a 3-threat orc. And so now I have to decide if I want to travel to the Seedy Inn. To travel there, I need to find a spy enemy and add it to the staging area, which would be a third enemy, and they're all getting minus 30 engagement and plus 1 threat thanks to Belloc. But I have a plan, so I think I will travel there. I want to get that threat out of staging. It'll make it easier to quest successfully next round. So let's grab one of those spies from Mordor. There we go. So we got one of those guys. And it's time for Haldir to show what he can do. So let's give this deck a shuffle and let's not engage anybody. We don't need to at the moment because my threat is only 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust Haldir. He's attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The black arrow adds 5 more, so that's 10. So I'm 1 short from killing Belloc. So I need to boost my attack, so that's why I'm going to use one of these unseen strikes and give myself plus 3 attack. So that is enough to kill Belloc. I'm going to add the black arrow to the victory display. And when Belloc is destroyed, he's going to get shuffled back into the encounter deck, so we just give that a quick shuffle. And then I'm going to ready Haldir with Lembas. So he is now ready. And I'm going to spend a resource on Hands Upon the Bow. That's just an action. I can do that at any time. So I'm going to attack for 6, because Hands Upon the Bow gives you plus 1, and that's enough to kill one of the other orcs. And then let's play the very powerful Full Hammer and draw 3 more cards. We get, there's a weapon, and then more Lembas. Okay, great. So now we're going to go into the next round, and as long as I can get 12 progress on the crossings at Tharbad, we're going to win. All right, the card I draw is another Hands Upon the Bow. Okay, that's nice. So now I have a way of getting that enemy out of the staging area, which is basically going to be like questing for 2, using Haldir to do that. I'm still holding a Nath Guide in my hand, so let's put the Nath Guide into play. And I will choose Haldir as the hero who doesn't exhaust a quest. And I think, based on the resources I have left, it makes the most sense just to put Henemarth in so he can quest for 2. I don't think I need to play that Lembas I just drew. And yeah, we're just going to send everybody on the quest that has willpower, so those 2 were questing for 2 each. And then all the other Sylvans are going to join in for 1 each, except for Rumil, who's questing for 2. Celeborn is questing for 3. And yeah, that should be plenty. So right now I'm 18 against 4. And we get the first player either removes a time counter or enemies get minus 20 engagement and plus 1 attack. Well, I will give that guy minus 20 engagement and plus 1 attack. And then let's finish this quest off in the most Haldir way that I can think of. I'll use a Hands Upon the Bow to kill this enemy to get that 2 threat out of staging. That means I'm questing against 2. I've sent 18. 3 go there. So that basically means I have 13 progress to dump on the crossings of Tharbad. I only needed 12. That's a victory. All right. Thank you, Haldir. It's good to see you back, my friend, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you in the future. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one. Take care. Bye-bye.